He is one of the iconic villains in Chinese kung fu movies, known for his cheeky disrespect for his opponents.
My tiger kung fu is better than yours.
Always portrayed with the same white eyebrows and beard. Pai Mei became well known in the West when the character was included in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill movies. And in true Pai Mei fashion, he still displays the same attitude of ridiculing his opponents. But Pai Mei is based on a supposedly real historical figure. So who was the real Pai Mei? In this video, you're going to find out. When the Ming Dynasty fell in 1644, Manchu forces rushed into China from beyond the Great Wall, founding the Qing Dynasty. This dynasty was not ruled by ethnic Chinese, although they would take on many of the Chinese traditions later on and actually create a kind of final golden age late in Chinese imperial history before the eventual collapse of the dynastic system. But at the beginning, this was seen as an attack and subjugation by a foreign power. Thus, there was a lot of resistance from Ming loyalists. Many of these loyalist resistance fighters would go and hide in temples as Buddhist monks to avoid capture, and this led to Qing forces to attack the Shaolin Temple and burn it down, with just 5 monks escaping, and these 5 became known as the 5 Elders of Shaolin, or Shaolin Wuzu. Pai Mei was said to be one of these elders, and apparently he looked like this. Now the name Pai Mei is just one way of writing it with English letters. You may also see it as Bak Mei or Pak Mei, which is how it's pronounced in some regional dialects. But in Mandarin Chinese, it's actually pronounced Bai Mei, and it means white eyebrow. That was his name, white eyebrow. I wonder why. Well, obviously that's why, but we'll get into the larger reason around that in a moment. So out of the 5 elders, supposedly Pai Mei thought that the Ming had become corrupt, and he took information about a resistance hiding in the Shaolin Temple to the Qing court, and that led to the attack and burning down of the temple. After the 5 elders escaped, Pai Mei then went to Emei Mountain and started practicing Taoism. So in a lot of the movies about Pai Mei, you see him portrayed as a Taoist in contrast to Buddhist Shaolin monks or former monks who are fighting against him. But it seems Pai Mei felt bad about the burning down of the temple, and so he trained an anti-imperial force for a counterattack. But then he got captured, and in order to save his men, he begrudgingly agreed to attack the new southern Shaolin temple, setting fire to that one too. The priest of the temple, one of the other 5 elders, then stepped in.
Priest Qi San of the Shaolin Temple engaged Priest Pai Mei in a duel to the death.
But he lost, and the southern temple was destroyed. Now, that is one version of a story which is pretty muddled up and has just been passed down verbally through different martial arts schools in the south of China. So this may be a little different to what you've heard from other sources. But why the name Pai Mei, or Bai Mei if you use the correct pronunciation? Well, like we said, it means white eyebrows, and that is a name given to him by the priest at the Shaolin Temple because he didn't want to use his real name so as not to lead to repercussions against his family if he was found to be associating with anti-Qing rebels. In the movies, he is portrayed as having white hair and white beard and white 长寿眉, or longevity eyebrows, i.e. eyebrows that have grown longer than normal, which is a sign that someone's lived for like 100 years or something, because apparently eyebrows start to grow long if you're really old, and you have to be Chinese as well for this to happen. But there are pictures of real people in China who have these eyebrows. The eyebrows are even more exaggerated in the Kill Bill version of the character. The historical Pai Mei developed his own style of kung fu, supposedly at Emei Mountain, called White Eyebrow Kung Fu or Pai Mei Kung Fu, and it has its own salute, which is slightly different to the normal Chinese martial arts salute, in that the open hand is above the clenched fist instead of beside it, as is normally done. You can see the Pai Mei salute at the beginning of the forms in the Pai Mei or White Eyebrow Kung Fu system. The system itself is said to be based off the movements of the tiger and the leopard. It has a lot in common with other southern styles of kung fu and emphasizes fast, powerful, close-range hand strikes as well as low kicks, What you see in Pai Mei movies isn't necessarily all Pai Mei Kung Fu, as is often the case with Kung Fu movies. So what movies has Pai Mei been in? Well, some of the most famous ones are Executioners from Shaolin from 1977, where the movie starts with the burning down of the Shaolin Temple and then basically goes into one man's mission to kill Pai Mei. That man is Hong Xiguan. He is a real historical figure who combined the tiger and the crane style into a combination style which became Hong Jia Quan. You may sometimes see it written in Cantonese pronunciation as Heng Ga. Although in the movie, Hong Xiguan is unsuccessful, and it's actually Hong Xiguan's son who combines the styles and defeats Pai Mei. And there's this weird joke about challengers getting their foot stuck in Pai Mei's groin. In that movie, Pai Mei is played by actor Lo Lei. Then another movie was Clan of the White Lotus from 1980, which features Gordon Liu, who was briefly in Executioners from Shaolin right at the beginning of the movie. And in Clan of the White Lotus, Gordon Liu kills Pai Mei right at the beginning. But then Pai Mei's brother wants revenge against Gordon Liu's character, but Pai Mei's brother in the movie is actually played by Lo Lei, the guy who played Pai Mei in Executioners from Shaolin, and thus in your mind when you're watching it, is basically Pai Mei.
你哋兩個唔記得咗殺死我師弟百眉道人咩？
I guess they were like, Pai Mei's a great character, we really want to use him again, but we killed him off in the last movie. I don't know, let's say as a twin brother. I guess the Shaw brothers had never watched the Batman or Spider-Man movies and didn't know that you could just reboot the franchise with a new actor. Anyway, the movie features more jokes about heroes getting body parts stuck in Pai Mei's groin. And then we get to the Kill Bill movies in 2003, and Pai Mei is played by Gordon Liu, the actor who fought him in Clan of the White Lotus, and he brings a lot to the character. But no matter who is playing him, Pai Mei always displays the same cheeky one-liners throughout.
How come you're still alive? You're supposed to be dead.
真係傻瓜，半道好想睇你點傻法。
So in Chinese history, Pai Mei was believed to have been a traitor to Shaolin who attacked the temples and then converted to Taoism. And in the movies, he is portrayed as such. But the story may not have been so simple, with some accounts saying that he was forced to attack Shaolin in order to save his men, or he had to kill the Shaolin priest Ji San to let other monks go free. Whatever the case, Pai Mei has become an iconic character, and his style of white eyebrow kung fu is still practiced to this day. Alright guys, that is the video. Now you know who the real Pai Mei is. If you're interested in Chinese Kung Fu, I was actually the commentator for the 2024 New Tang Dynasty Television International Chinese Martial Arts Competition that was held just a few days ago. If you're interested in checking it out, I will put the link either on screen, if I have a YouTube link to it, or in the description down below. You can see a load of traditional Kung Fu styles, both open-handed and weapons, performed by world-class performers, with commentary courtesy of you-know-who. Do check it out, it's a lot of fun, and please subscribe to this channel if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.